And we are live. Oh boy. And we actually are this time. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a good old Sunday night with your good old friends. I'm Cody.
I'm Emperor Tiger Star.
And I am Tristan, first Duke of StepBackHistory.com.
First of
Look,
his name.
who's the one with the deformed crown here?
Oh yeah, thank you. And we're only 20 seconds in. You just have to bring everyone's attention to that. I worked so hard on that crown too. So hard. But you just had to ruin it. And this is the So That Happened live stream, podcast, whatever we call this thing now. Just a hangout. Good old Sunday hangout. So yeah, not much actually really happened this week in terms of world events and anything like that. And if they continued on, I mean, our opinions have not changed in a week. But so this is going to be a little bit of a, this is going to be a shorter live stream. Probably aim for like around an hour or so. You know, just to keep up the momentum of doing these weekly and being a little, you know, being on schedule every time. So, gents, how have you been? How was your Thanksgiving?
Just normal. Nothing really eventful.
Mine was great. It was also in October.
Oh yes,
right.
I forgot one of our Tristan. You ruin it by your Canadianness. Once again, it has come to harm us today. Can't believe
I did turn 31 this week though, so it's a thing. I'm still recovering from Saturday night's party.
Oh wait, yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh damn. Oh, so are you doing the doing the whole hangover and trying to create content thing? That's
precisely. It's a great feel. It's a good vibe.
Good vibe. We'll try to not yell so much. That'll work. Well, that's good. Yeah, mine's was pretty good. I did two Thanksgivings. The one of the Thanksgivings was yesterday, which was with my fiance's mom's side of the family. And the thing about that side of the family is they have a lot of kids. And I rarely interact with kids ever. I barely do. And it was like a slap.
You could say
in the face.
law actually prohibits you from doing it.
Thank you. You had to make that odd.
Is there a story behind this that we need to?
No, I was just making a goof.
That was so freaking. But anyway, no. Yeah, these freaking kids. They wanted to play like Smash Bros and stuff, and so it was me and Izzy, my fiance's brother. We had to basically babysit the kids, and one of them just screamed every single freaking time. He would, like, somebody would even die on screen on Smash Bros, which, if you know anything about Smash Bros, people die all the time. And so he was just, I'm not going to recreate the scream right now, but it was like a high-pitched tornado siren right into my ear. And for some reason, he had the settings on the game to infinite time and infinite deaths. So this was just a 10-minute long game that never ended with kids that were just screaming because of like one constant thing. And I by the end of it, I think I would have rather put my head on a train track to calm myself down and have the train noise calm me down like a gentle ocean. It was that loud. So yeah, I think this one experience set me back wanting to have kids, like, you know, 3 or 4 years. That's my good old Thanksgiving story. In other parts of the news, Tiger Star, you wanted to switch over to your good story, right?
Well, it's not a good story, but yeah, I guess like really the major thing that's going on in the world right now, there is a measles outbreak in Samoa. And I guess it started in like earlier in the month, and part of the reason why it happened was in 2018 the number of vaccines went down, because there happened to be like two coincidental deaths from people who had vaccines, and so a bunch of like anti-vax organizations like basically convinced a lot of people over there, I guess, not to take the vaccines. And so there was like a steady drop. And surprise, surprise, a measles outbreak happens. And they've basically have so far infected like 3,000 people. And I think last I checked, like 42 people are dead. And they expect like 30 more people to die in the next coming days. And so there's been like a state of emergency. The World Health Organization was able to send 100,000 vaccines to the island of 200,000 people. So, yeah, it's definitely not good because Samoa is definitely like a really poor country. Like they were just declared a developing country in 2014.
Wow.
So, yeah, and of course, they're an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean with the disease epidemic. So, with a country that vaccines have been going down, so that's definitely quite a national emergency. So that really sucks.
So, is international health organizations getting involved in it, or is it basically
Yeah.
just, yeah?
Yeah, because like the World Health Organization basically sent 100,000 vaccines, and so they're trying to like mass vaccinate as many people as they can. But like I said, it's already infected like over 3,000 people.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Great job, anti-vaxxers.
Thanks, Karen.
Real win.
The Samoan
yeah,
Karens just obliterated the country. So
yeah, and like their capital's main hospital is only able to have like 14 or 15 children on ventilators at a time. So it's like, yeah, this just really sucks.
that's great.
Friendly PSA, people. If you're a parent, which I know like everybody who watches the stream is like 6, but vaccinate your kids. And if you are a kid, get vaccinated.
Yourself.
If your parents didn't,
Unless you're watching the stream, then no, don't get vaccinated. Just you're wasting your life. No. But thanks by the way, Tristan, for starting the good old meme in the chat from that's real good. That helps.
Yeah, according to the story, it says 4 years ago, around 85% of 1-year-olds were vaccinated, and in 2017 and 2018, it had dropped all the way to like 60%.
Wow. Yeah, it's weird because you don't really hear everyone mostly is just talking about Hong Kong and shit, so it's like any other important sort of news is just it's I mean, that's just the natural thing with bias in media and stuff, is that like if you took like in Europe and you said there's like an epidemic of measles and stuff like this, or in America, everyone would be panicking and freaking out, but it's like just put in Samoa and then nobody mentions it, nobody talks about it, won't even see it in the news really. It's but
Yeah. It looks like other countries like Australia, New Zealand, the US, and the UK, as well as the UN Children's Fund, are also trying to send vaccines. So, I mean, at least we're, trying, but yeah, anti-vax people suck.
it also shows that like the thing about vaccines is that like in order for them to work and do what they're supposed to do, you've got to have like near 100% of the population vaccinated. And if it drops even like by a certain percentage, you can start causing massive outbreaks, not even amongst people who are vaccinated, because vaccines are not perfect and some people can't get them because they have compromised immune systems or something or other. So yeah, the herd immunity of impact shows that like even a small drop can cause massive outbreaks.
And apparently, because of the state of emergency, basically almost every church has been converted into a hospital. All schools are closed, and like their supermarkets are like not making any money at all because people are literally too scared to leave their houses. And of course, just like in pandemic, the airport is. I don't think the airport is closed, but not a lot of people are using it for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Speaking of not wanting to go outside, this is a great transition. Black Friday. Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh
I
man.
always
Yeah,
try to never
we don't
buy
have
anything on
American
that day.
Thanksgiving. We don't have American Thanksgiving in Canada, but we do have Black Friday for some inexplicable.
I is I'm
Money.
guessing yeah. Well, I'm guessing it's probably just because Canada doesn't want to miss out on all those good old last quarter sales, and so
But what's also weird about that is that we have like the day after Christmas, we've got something called Boxing Day, and that's like also a day where like there's tons of deals. So it's like we get two of them.
oh, so two opportunities for good old capitalism.
Yeah, Boxing Day is like usually I only ever like used it once because when there's one time where on Christmas Day I was like, this is back when I was in university and I was staying with my parents, and my cat, or former cat, my parents' cat that's now a dead cat,
Yeah.
knocked my laptop off of the dining room table. And I was like, oh crap, I have to go back to Quebec in like 2 days and I don't have a laptop. So guess I have to like go and find a freaking Boxing Day sale on laptops.
Jeez.
I'm so mad because I hate this. I hate shopping. I hate everything about purchasing things.
I mean, at least you're in Canada though, so it's not as much of a clusterfuck because it's like I couldn't imagine
Oh yeah, we
going.
don't have anybody like we don't have like I hear like in America that like people like literally murder each other, stomp
It's
on
not
top of each other, get their stadium buddies out and like are just like
it you
like murdering each other for like a cheap TV or something.
it used well. Actually, interesting is the thing is there's a whole history of Black Friday is that a lot of that is just made up. I mean, it is a clusterfuck. There are a lot of people going out and people are incredibly toxic on Black Friday, but that I think there's only been like around 30 murders across the entire United States for like the last 25 years that Black Friday epidemic, like, you know, this whole thing has been around. It's really blown up by, you know, the media and stuff, but there's even studies that companies themselves actually have been promoting the idea that there is violence and craziness on Black Friday, because if people are like literally killing themselves, you know, over these great deals, then you know sales have to be super great on Black Friday, but they're not. Like Black Friday it's not that good of a sales season, and it's kind of the infamy makes people think it's actually better sales than it really is, which you know brings in more customers and all that fun jazz. So it kind of becomes a whole culture in itself, mostly just to benefit and promote profit.
Okay, so guys, like this is like a new thing
Yeah, this is a whole new
for
thing.
us. Like this for us, Black Friday is like only a couple years old. So what is the proper way to Black Friday?
Online. Like if you're going to we'll never have, because I remember back in the 2000s, that was when the pandemic was at like the most, like, oh god, Black Friday is like, you know, so horrible and like people are literally dying in the streets and shit like that. With the invention of the
Urge.
yeah, it was basically the purge. It might have inspired the who knows, maybe it inspired the purge, but in the with the arrival of Amazon, which is a whole issue in itself, but of just ordering stuff online, it really cut down on the amount of people going into Black Friday. So you can completely avoid the experience if you want to, but I also feel like it kind of killed that entire culture with Black Friday, since people can just do these shopping online themselves. So if Canada actually got pretty lucky because you didn't get the true like culture around Black Friday, which was super annoying, and in the 2000s. Like Tiger Star, am I wrong? Like you remember that, right? How they kind of it's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really sad. And like you say, shop online, but like they have Cyber Monday anyway.
Yeah, well
Oh
they
yeah.
kind of combined it. They kind of combined it. They have wait, tomorrow.
Black Weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Black Weekend. Like, I mean, hell, there are even stuff of like
Oh yeah.
a week before Black Friday. Black Friday itself is kind of a pointless holiday because it's like it's almost like an event that everyone just lowers their prices or whatever.
So Black Friday has turned into a big like a week long thing in the same way that Boxing Day turned into Boxing Week.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Except it doesn't have a very positive connotation for nobody's going to be like, "Oh boy,
What's it called? Boxing Day is the day where you go shopping and you return all the presents you didn't want.
I mean, that's still kind of relatively it's more positive than little Black Friday.
That's true.
Yeah. But actually, the fun fact, it was called Black Friday before the sales. It wasn't called Black Friday because people were getting killed or anything like that. It was called Black Friday because of the traffic when people would come back from Thanksgiving. It was the worst traffic day of the year, so it would just be called Black Friday. Then the sales started popping up, and it was just called the Black Friday sales. But it just made it easier to then for like the news and media to basically say like it's called Black Friday because people die, but they don't. Honestly, I don't think I've bought a single thing for Black Friday. I know
we got speakers.
Yeah, I mean it's good if you're doing I mean, there's nothing bad to go out on Black Friday.
As long as it's not like super close to closing.
Yeah, don't be an ass. I mean, it's the common sense shit. Be a human being. Don't be a animal. Which the people that watch that are watching, this are not the people that are going out and punching Granny for a whatever. But though I will say, the connotation that Black Friday is crazy is actually real in other parts of the world. In places like Brazil and some places in Europe and shit, it actually does get really insane. Though Brazil just gets crazy for anything. So
I was going to say, like, you're just talking about the countries where they basically go into civil war when their team loses or wins a soccer match.
Yeah, they basically just translate that culture into flat screens. So So if you're in Latin America, yeah, probably everything they say about Black Friday is probably true. So and any day that there's soccer or football. But yeah,
I just almost never get anything on Black Friday except for maybe food.
Yeah, same. I don't think I even bought anything for Black Friday this year. Honestly, I'm just kind of like, if I wanted to I'm the type of person, like, if I want to get something, I'm just gonna order it online. But if I don't have the urge, I'm not gonna have an urge on Black Friday to buy anything. I'm just gonna like wait a little bit, like, oh, I don't feel like spending money right now. So that's just, yeah. But yeah, Black Friday, it's all fun. It's the most hypocritical event, in the world, which is hilarious. That it's like, everyone says it. We have Thanksgiving, which is about being thankful for everything, and then immediately after, I mean, hell, it was like, because now it's like 6 p.m. Black Friday shit opens, so it's like you sit around with the family and have dinner, and then immediately all of the family goes out and shops. Like, it's
really cynical.
It honestly just kills Thanksgiving. Like, that's the thing that sucks, because Thanksgiving's it's a nice holiday in concept, of just everyone coming around and eating and shit like that. We're not going into the historical, the historical.
Like, yeah, like the idea of having a holiday where you're legitimately thankful for what you have is nice.
Yeah, that's nice. And then
I know that, like, the whole, like, oh, right after Halloween, it's Christmas thing has technically been happening for decades now, but it does seem like it gets more intense, even if it's not sooner, if that makes sense.
I do have to say to you guys, like, you guys having like Thanksgiving as this like shield against the Christmas tide, I think helps quite a bit, because for us it is November 1st. It is the Christmas deluge, and there's no stopping it.
Oh God, my fiance would hate that. She absolutely hates it being anything Christmas related before Thanksgiving. Once it's Thanksgiving, then sure, go all out. But it's like, God, I cannot imagine 2 months of that. That
Yeah,
is, I would go nuts. I'm sorry.
I like block any Christmas music or themed or never put up any decorations or anything in my house until it's at least December 1st.
I don't really do it until it's at least 2 weeks before Christmas. Like, I don't know. I'm just not.
I go to my in-laws' house and they do it.
I guess that's fair. Um, but yeah, I mean, with Halloween and shit, I'll have Halloween shit up October 1st, and it'll be just like this month-long event. But
Yeah.
I love Christmas in, like, the religious sense, but in terms of the everything else surrounding it, I think it's just because, you know all of the media, all of the stuff that we consume about Christmas, it just never changes. So it's
And
like
then they ironically play the Charlie Brown Christmas special,
See, the
which is
thing
just
is,
super insulting when you really think about it.
Halloween season's really, really fun.
yeah,
And so you want it to be as long as possible because you get to like watch scary movies and get a spooky Twitter name and do spooky stuff
yeah.
for as long as you hopefully can get away with it. But yeah, Christmas is just like this like Victorian saccharine bleh.
I mean, I love religiously, I love Christmas. I hate the commercialization of it. Um, I I don't know. It just doesn't really have the commercial culture around it. I just get sick of it. Santa,
And I
all that
think
stuff. I can't deal with that at all.
I think also a part of it is like a lot of what constitutes like Halloween celebrations and decorations just work with fall and general.
Yeah,
And while there definitely is an association of Christmas with like a snowy winter, there's just so much extra added on to it that it's like any like winter decorations you don't even associate with Christmas. It's just
yeah,
winter. Meanwhile, if you get fall decorations, you immediately it's like, oh, it's Halloween.
yeah,
So it's like the commercialization of Christmas not only like makes it annoying, but it
yeah,
like even simple Christmas decorations like snow themed stuff are just like irrelevant now.
yeah. It's not.
Now, while we're on this comparison,
Mhm.
a rare opportunity to discuss an important question, which is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
Oh God. I would say. Uh
I mean,
I would
it's
say it's a Christmas. I
Christmas.
would say it's a Christmas movie,
He's
because
bringing Christmas to Halloween Town.
yeah, the entire plot is around Christmas. So, and I don't know anybody that watches Nightmare. I don't know anyone that watches that movie during Halloween.
I know some people. It's like
So
3/4 to a quarter ratio.
yeah. I would say I think I usually don't watch it until Christmas, because by the time that's Christmas, uh, I'm kind of getting sick of Christmas, and I'm kind of missing Halloween. So it's kind of that perfect movie that it's like, man, I miss Halloween. I miss it so much.
But then also, once Christmas is over, there's the best time of year, which is fuck you, it's
Yeah,
January,
fuck
which is the
you.
month where nothing fun happens, all the movies are bad, and life is just kind of slow. You're just taking it easy for a bit because you've
You,
had like 3 holidays in a row.
the
And then we
first
get two more federal holidays.
the first four months of the year are really bad. Like, honestly, my year doesn't begin until after Easter, because as a Catholic, basically you have the first 2 months, which is pretty much nothing, and then you go into Lent, and so Lent is combine
Lent
nothing
is no
happening.
fap November for Catholics.
Yeah, combine with sacrificing something, and also not eating meat on Fridays. But then it makes Easter one of my favorite holidays, because as soon as Easter's over, it's basically it's actually like the year begins. The snow is melting. It's spring, and it's there's no better feeling in the world than Easter actually coming for me. Um, but yeah, the first 4 months, there's just nothing happening at all. So yeah,
I
um,
guess if we're already going to answer the quick question on what movie, oh, what holiday is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
sure, why not? Why not? Let's go with that. God, what
Oh,
what
I
other?
was expecting more of an argument.
Yeah, I would say if there's anything that mixes up what a Christmas movie is, I'm fine with it because I'm sick of just the same animated movies from the '60s, and I'm sick of oh shit. Apparently there's something with the Wi-Fi, so that's fun. Uh, can anyone hear us? Can people still hear us?
I think they can hear us fine.
I was just saying there's something with the streaming. Okay, cool. All right, continue on.
Yeah, well, apparently Die Hard being a Christmas movie or not is like a surprisingly like touchy debate, apparently. So I'm kind of surprised that we're all just like, yeah, sure.
It's like, there's worse Christmas movies out there. I don't know. What would you say is probably your favorite Christmas movie?
I mean, honestly, I did like the Garfield Christmas special a lot.
God, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I feel like that there was a time where like on kind of like how they would play like the Charlie Brown like holiday specials every year, how they used to also play Garfield, but then somewhere around like 10-ish years ago, they just stopped for some reason. But I always loved the Garfield Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas specials.
Yeah, I would say probably my favorite is It's a Wonderful Life. Um, I don't know, or Rudolph, because
Yeah, I
everyone
like Rudolph.
is so cynical. Everyone's such an ass to him. It's hilarious. Um, but yeah, those two. How about you, Tristan?
I've ever since the movie came out when I was a wee little lad, I've probably watched this every single year, and it is the Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh shit.
That movie's got so much clever shit in it. It's great. I enjoy watching it every single year.
Honestly,
I
my
have to
favorite
agree with that.
Christmas
I have
Carol
to agree with
is
that
the
too.
one. My favorite Christmas Carol is the one with Mickey Mouse, actually.
Yeah, but this one's got Michael Caine as Scrooge, yo.
And it's got the Muppets, which who doesn't love the Muppets? So yeah, it's
Yes.
yeah.
And they make what's it called? What's his name? Marley, Jacob Marley in the story is turned into two roles played by Waldorf and Statler, and they named the other one Robert Marley, which is the best small joke you can add to that.
Yeah, no, it's every yeah, I would say that's a close second. Definitely a close second for me. Um yeah, those movies are like the only ones that I like look forward to every year. It's like, yeah, I can actually watch them and do stuff like that. I guess as a segue, good old winter's here, technically, astronomically
Yep.
apparently.
Oh yeah.
So that's fun. How long has it been snowing in Canada, Tristan? Oh boy.
It snowed like once, like 3 weeks ago, and then melted. But then, like, they just apparently December just decided to say fuck it, and so they were just like, yeah, December 1st is just gonna be a big ass snowstorm, I guess.
That's weird. We were They keep saying that we're technically supposed to be getting a snowstorm, but there hasn't been one yet. So it's like I don't know if it's just like swept me over or what, but normally down here, even though technically I'm just right across the lake, yeah, we never even get snow really until like January, which is always
We used to
depressing.
not. This year, it's been weirdly like it's like, oh, this is gonna be one of them
Cold.
old school super cold ones. Because yeah, like it being like
Yeah.
-1, -2 every day in like early December is it's an early start.
Honestly, I'd be happy with that because the one thing I hate about winter the most isn't the snow. It's it being dark and cold, but then everything's just dead. Like, if there's snow, everything looks 10 times better. So bring on the snow. I'll be happy. I mean, I work at home, so that's probably not good for like 90% of the population. But yeah, I don't mind snow at all.
Where I live in Southwest Missouri, we are right at the edges of both the tropical front and the polar front. So our weather is just all over the place. So early in November, we had one day where there was just not like a snow, but definitely enough to where like the roads were slightly icy and the grass was frosty.
Yeah.
We've had one of those days, and then like since then we've had like 3 really windy rainstorms, like it's spring or something. And then now it's just like windy and slightly chilly. But then yesterday it was warm. It's weird. It
Yeah.
like it didn't even feel like that we had that much of a fall.
It doesn't feel like we had that much of a summer, to be honest. It was kind of just. It was like cold as hell, and the trees were dead up until June. And then, suddenly it's summer, and then everything just kind of dies like 2 months later, and now we're in winter
Oh no,
again.
we definitely had a summer down here.
Oh, you're,
It
you're
gets
lucky.
hot.
You're lucky. Yeah.
I would much rather have 12 months of winter than 12 months of summer.
You're a degenerate.
No, like on because here's the way I look at it. Being like way too hot is more uncomfortable than being way too cold. Like I know
I
things
get
like
that.
frostbite sucks, but you can add as many layers as you want. You can only remove a limited number of layers.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying that I like summer because everything's actually alive. Like the grass is green, the trees are alive. Everything like that. Yeah, it can be hot.
That
It can be hot as hell.
that's honestly never real. It's not that I don't like cool looking trees. It's just that's never really been much of a factor. Like I know there's a lot of people who will see everything as dead and maybe get some sort of like wintertime depression type thing. I don't know why, but that's just never really been a thing for me.
Yeah. Well, I live in the Rust Belt, so that's probably a little bit of the factor for me. Because for you, at least, in Missouri, I'm guessing it's a little bit better if it's not super warm or if it's winter or whatever. But up here, it's like the roads are shit. There's just poverty everywhere, and it's cold as hell, and everything's dead. So it's pretty much just depressing as hell.
Missouri.
Yeah, as a person who lives in a really big city, wintertime is just like dirty and slushy, and it just
Yeah.
gets like gross.
Yeah,
But
it's
at least we'll
miserable.
get a new Weekend album from the Six. Oh boy.
Which, speaking of which, Tiger Star, what's that fun little project you've been working on since we're arriving on the end of the decade?
Oh, right. So, as you all, I'm sure, are very well aware, I am a nerd and I also am very picky with what music I. And so I subjected myself to a playlist of every song that was a #1 hit in the United States from January 1st of 2010 all the way up till now. And I know there's still a few weeks left in the year, but oh well. So I basically ranked all 110 songs, and so I'm
Dear
not going to read them all,
God.
but I figured I could at least give you my bottom 10 and my top 10.
All right, I'm excited.
So which would you rather hear first?
Uh,
Like the best or the worst?
mm, I would say
Let's
let's do best first. Probably,
Okay.
yeah. Worse is funnier.
So to kind of give you an idea on how I made my list, I tried to take a deep breath and disassociate the artist from the song. I tried to listen to each song individually. I tried to ignore if a song was overplayed or underplayed. And I just tried to like listen to them all once. And I would go, would I rather listen to this one over this last one? Over
Yeah.
this last one? Over this last one? To try to make it as like fair to my ears as possible. So I was definitely surprised by my list. 10, Perfect by Ed Sheeran, because it's like a slow, dopey love song, and
Okay.
I'm totally a sucker for those songs. 9, Circles by Post Malone.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be in the top 10, but it did. It made it.
Yes.
8. Oh, what was that?
Oh, I was saying the thing that we were discussing before the live stream began is Tiger Star. What was your logic for why you're surprised Malone actually made it on the list?
Yeah, it's not that like I've always thought Post Malone's music overall was fine. It's just that there's so many shitty songs that I didn't expect it to make all the way to like the top 10, which is really sad.
So continuing on.
8, Bad Guy by Billie Eilish. That song has actually really grown on me.
Yeah, same.
and I like how it sounds different than most of the other songs that are out right now. 7, Starboy by The Weeknd. I like fanboyed over that song because I'm a huge Weeknd fan.
Mm.
6, Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, all the way back in 2010.
Man, that was
And
2010. Damn.
Yeah,
Feels
yeah,
like
it's amazing how much music has changed.
yeah.
I'm definitely biased towards that song because that was the first song I danced to someone with, and so yeah, I definitely like that one a lot.
I could see that.
5, Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
Oh,
There is
shit.
not a there is not a single thing about that song I hate.
It's almost weird.
It,
This decade feels so long. I kind of forgot. Like, Adele used to be the biggest thing, just like 5 years ago. And she's
Bruno
Well-
Mars used to be the biggest thing.
Bruno
well, they
Mars is
kind of-
still relatively big.
The
It's
thing
not
with
like the
Adele
big.
though, like she releases her albums like every 4 to 5 years. So she released an album in 2011, and then she released her next album in 2016. So we probably won't get her next album until late 2020, early 2021.
Yeah, even the album in 2016 though, it was like it did not have.
Hello was huge.
Oh shit, was that? Wow, 2016 feels like.
Yeah, I
a while
know.
ago. Damn.
Yeah, a lot
I
of the
mean, yeah,
music
it's been
from like the
2016
early,
for 4 years now, so
like a lot of the music from the early 2010s I had forgotten about because now it's a lot of like EDM and trap rap and stuff like that, but in the early 2010s it was that like club music with the synths and
I
like
think
Pitbull was featured in it.
I actually think early 2010s music was worse. I'm gonna say I know it's a
Yeah,
hot take.
like
It was worse.
no,
Far
I
worse.
I actually kind of agree. I expected my list to be the other way around, but as I'm listening to these, it ended up being quite the opposite. And yeah, I would actually say that the latter half of the decade was much better.
Yeah, it's kind of what caused the whole parodies and shit, like the bear bear and the fucking 360 no scope shit. Yeah.
4, Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. I have not seen the movie, but I really like the song. It was nice hearing like a nice song with real instruments on pop radio.
Shit, I didn't.
And it only made it on pop radio because Lady Gaga's in it. But
yeah, I didn't even think of that as a pop song, to be honest, which is weird.
But it became a #1 hit.
Yeah.
So 3, and if my middle school self heard me, he would probably like go forward in time to kill. Number 3 is Sucker by the Jonas Brothers.
Sucker. Which one's Sucker? Oh yeah, no, I actually see that. Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, I remember they got back together, and my first like thought was like, oh great, here we go, another boy band again. But to my surprise, real guitars, real drums, a drum solo. They had a pop rock song.
Jonas Brothers actually, I feel like the world shit way too hard on Jonas, because it's like, oh, they're just a boy.
Like they were
band or
held
whatever.
back by Disney.
Yeah, they're held.
But
Yeah, as soon as they came
they
back,
can at least actually play though.
Yeah, they
And
actually have
so-
talent. Yeah.
Yeah, so this song was a very pleasant surprise, and again, anything that contrasts to trap rap and EDM that I'm hearing over and over and over again,
Yeah.
I'm going to be biased towards, and so somehow the Jonas Brothers are in my top 3,
What a shock.
and I cannot believe that. 2, Can't Feel My Face by The Weeknd. I love everything about that song.
I don't know. I don't. I probably have heard it. I just don't know the title. Oh. Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah,
it's
it
kinda-
had a very Michael Jackson vibe, so I
Yep.
like that one. And number 1, and I knew this was going to be number 1 the moment I started this list, and yeah, Uptown Funk.
Yep.
Uptown
agree.
Funk
Fully agree.
ended my depression with pop music. I was literally depressed at the state of music, and Uptown Funk made me happy.
So with that said, who would you guys say is like, if we're gonna go with pop artist, who's probably the pop artist of the 2010s in your mind?
Ooh, it's hard to say because it's like the first, if we broke it into halves, it would be easy.
Okay, yeah,
'Cause
first half of 2010s. I would say
Rihanna.
Bruno Mars, I would say.
Bruno Mars, like I want it to be Bruno Mars, but when I looked at like the sheer number of hits like Rihanna had and how she was featured on everything, I just had to say Rihanna.
Yeah, I can see that.
And second half Drake. I don't want it to be, but it's Drake.
Yeah, that's Drake.
Hey, he's our local thing.
I should be ashamed of him.
Damn you, Canada! You gave us Bieber and that.
What's it called? Drake is like all over the city, and like at every
He's
time the
from the
Raptors play a
sticks,
game, he's
yo.
there, and he.
Oh, have you heard about that bullshit? They're saying Taylor Swift is the artist of the decade or something. Like, no, she hasn't had a good. She hasn't.
She'd be high up there. I don't know if I put her at number 1, but she's had a very successful decade. And because like I remember like I remember like her album 1989. Honestly, as much as I hate Taylor Swift, 1989 was good, and it ended up being the best-selling album of the year despite no.
Jeez. Was
that
the new one?
No, that was the one with Shake It Off, Blank Space, Style.
Oh, yeah.
Like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Like it's on streaming now, but like at the time she refused to do it, and it still sold a lot, which is impressive. But she's definitely high up there.
Man. Okay, actually, I kind of have an idea. So, for the next 3 weeks, because we'll probably take a break before Christmas, we could have like a list of like what would be like the best movies or what of sort of just one list thing for the decade, and then I mean I'm sorry Tiger started to be stealing this idea, but I think that would be a good idea for the podcast.
Oh no, it's not stealing an idea.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone does it.
we all just kind of come up with our own lists, and we'll just kind of like give our opinions and stuff for why it'd be like this would be good.
Yeah,
we could do that.
Alrighty.
So for the bottom 10,
yeah,
the 10 that I said were the worst.
The spicy, yeah.
And see, here's the thing. There were a lot of songs I wanted to be in the bottom 10. Like Blurred Lines, for a lot of obvious reasons, like how the song's lyrics are very date rapey and uncomfortable, and I honestly never found it catchy. I thought it was going to be the bottom 10. I thought that Triple X Tortilla Chips song was going to be in the bottom 10.
Oh, no.
I thought Girls Like You by Maroon 5 was going to be in the bottom 10, but it wasn't. And part of the reason why it wasn't was the early 2010s had songs with production that was so bad, it literally like physically hurt my eardrums. Like it would feel like the wubs were like stabbing my ear. And like causing me physical pain.
I'm curious how many of these were Pitbull songs.
Pitbull only had one number 1 hit song.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, feels like
he just like does the musical version of photobombing other people's songs.
He was DJ Khaled before DJ Khaled.
Yeah. Yeah, shit, you're right.
And, like he had a lot of hits, and like there are a lot of people who are like, oh well, what about this song? Like, but there were a lot of big songs that never hit number 1. So like Shut Up and Dance, that never hit number 1. Feel It Still, that never hit number 1. What's it called? That Ed Sheeran song. Thinking Out Loud, that never hit number 1. There were a lot of really big songs that just never did, and so they're not on this list. And it just so happened that Pitbull only had one number 1 hit song.
Is it Fireball?
No, it's Everything Tonight.
I'm surprised Fireball wasn't on that list. Holy crap.
Yeah. So I'm going to say -10 through -1, since these are the worst. -10, Hold It Against Me by Britney Spears. Oh my gosh. The production of that song was terrible. The in the background was like physically stabbing my ears.
Was that her newest? Didn't she just have a new song or something?
She might have, but this was back in 2011.
Oh,
and this is her last number 1 hit song, and for good reason, because it was horrible.
Ouch.
Yeah. -9, TikTok by Kesha. I forgot how annoying Kesha's voice was.
I could have swore TikTok was like 2009.
You would think, but no, it was 2010.
The album came out in 2009. The single came out in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am actually I'm actually a fan.
I will
Respectfully
say
disagree with your take here.
now, I will say that Kesha's most recent album is actually really good.
Yeah, new
But
Kesha's good.
Yeah, new Kesha's fantastic. Her early stuff physically hurts my ears. Hearing her talk like this, like made me want to stab myself.
Well, also the whole history of what actually her life was like during that time too. It just makes the song, oof.
It makes it awkward.
Yeah.
Let's see. -8, All About That Bass by Megan Trainor.
Oh, God, you're bringing back horrible.
And here's the thing. It has nothing to do with the lack of message in the song, which she hypocritically says that, like, oh, there's nothing wrong with being fat, but if you're thin, well, shut up, you anorexic bitch. Ignoring that controversy of the song, it's just obnoxious. It's all her voice.
Yeah.
I thought it was neat that it had like an upright bass in it, but it was, I don't know, it was just very obnoxious and like 50s lollipoppy.
It's called Art Deco.
Yeah.
I thought that was the 20s. Whatever.
All right, no, you're right.
Either way, not a fan of that. -7. I'ma be the Black Eyed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and the thing is, most of the really horrible Black Eyed Peas songs were from 2009, like Boom Boom Pow, Got This Feeling, and Dirty Bit.
So if they didn't fizzle out and explode by the turn of the decade, they probably would have just dominated this list, right? Probably.
Yeah, like honestly, if Dirty Bit would have been in 2010, it would have been it is the most horrible electronic song that I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
But somehow I'ma Be was their only #1 hit in 2010, and then thankfully their career just died.
2007 to 2010 was such a weird time for pop music because it's kind of like they just discovered what auto-tuning was, and it's like, but none of them
rediscovered 80s synthesizers.
Yeah, none of them knew how to use it well at all.
Or it was on purpose, bro. I sound like a robot.
Yeah, and then it just every single song sounded like that. And it's like BoJack Horseman does such a good parody of it too.
I have a question about your list. Did Some Nights get on it, and where did it rank?
It never hit #1.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy moly!
It was a top 10 hit, but it never hit #1.
So continuing on.
Also, that song is kind of a ripoff of Simon and Garfunkel's Cecilia. So, -6, Roar by Katy. Or sorry, not that one. We Found Love by Rihanna.
I can see that.
That was like the first pop song I remember sounding not like the club songs of the early 2010s and sounded more like EDM. But I hated it so much because the whole song is 2 notes over and over again. Do 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 over and over again. And it's
one of those things that if you like focus on it, it just drives you nuts.
It really does. Like, this should be used in Guantanamo Bay as torture. Like, I hate it so much. -5, Roar by Katy Perry. And here's the thing with Katy Perry. Most of the time, her instrumentals, her backing tracks are really good and catchy and fun, but her voice is terrible and she cannot sing.
No,
she may not. I don't know if she's using auto-tune. Thankfully, she's not. If she is, she's not overdoing it, so I will give her props for that. I totally agree. She's passionate. She seems like a nice person. She's trying. I get she wants to make fun music for kids. That's nice. Roar is an inspirational anthem. I get it. I just cannot stand listening to that thing. And it's just so bad. And then to top it all off, it's a rip-off of a Sarah Bareilles song called Brave. And so that just made it more annoying, where like the original song that was actually good fizzled out, and then the rip-off just became a huge hit that was everywhere.
Yeah, I can see that. So
yeah, by far Katy Perry's worst song. -4, We Are Who We Are by Cat. And again, I know this is supposed to be an inspirational anthem, but the production is just so bad I cannot stand it. She did this, not only was she still sounding like stereotypical Valley girl, the entire song, but she kept doing this Will I Am thing where she kept on cutting her voice.
Oh God.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't work with her voice. So once again, every time her voice is cut, it sounds like it's stabbing my ear. Because we're young, everybody, young, yeah.
Oh
It,
God.
it was horrible. And then there's like this part at the end where she's like, "Hey DJ, turn it up, up."
See, even
And
you replicating that makes me want to just come through Discord and strangle you. So don't.
yeah, I know it's horrible. It's
Yeah.
really horrible. Okay, -3, like a G6. Do you remember this song?
No, I don't know what that is.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh shit.
Like a G6.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Not only was that song obnoxious, a G6 isn't real. The story behind the song was that in an interview, they're like, well, all of these rappers are bragging that they get to be on these private jets that are called G5s. So what's better than a G5? A G6. But they're not even real. So they're literally bragging about something that doesn't exist. But also it was just obnoxious. And I also remember because it coined the term scissorp, which was apparently the drug of choice at the time of like mixing cough syrup and Sprite, which I guess was the thing. But it was horrible.
That's fun.
-2. This is the song that I thought would be the worst, but it ended up not being the worst. I'm Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO.
How could you?
I hate that song.
No, I mean, how could you not anticipate that being bad? That.
I expected it to be the worst, but it ended up being the second worst. But enough said. It's obnoxious. I hate everything about it.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's intentionally obnoxious. That doesn't make it any better. And I forgot about the part at the end where they go wiggle, 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 and I wanted to stab myself with my broken coffee mug.
The song is the it's like that meme that I was just pretending to be retarded. That's all it tries to do. It's like, huh.
Yeah, and what makes it really awkward is LMFAO is an uncle-nephew duo.
Yeah, I heard it.
So the song is about the uncle and the nephew having a sex competition. Let that sink in.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And the worst song of the 2010s, and I didn't expect this to be the worst because I completely forgot this song existed entirely. And it exists thanks to a meme. Do you know what this song is?
Gangnam Style?
No.
I'm not even gonna try it. Oh shit! Are we talking about Harlem? Oh God, no! Harlem Shake. That was number one. I forgot. Oh God, I forgot it was number one.
Yeah. So many people, because of the meme, bought copies of the song and listened to streaming of it at the time. That it actually had the record for the most streams in one day that wasn't broken until just this year last year by Drake, by Drake's new album.
Oh my
God. That's how big it was at the time. And because of that meme, it was number one for 5 weeks.
What a terrible time to be alive. Oh my God.
All right.
And not only
I appreciate that you made this list and you put a lot of work into it, obviously. But I do have to say that I think that if I were to do the same list, it would be fairly different.
That's fine.
That's fair.
I'm very picky with music.
We'll do movies next time, so it's a little bit more, you know.
God, I've probably only seen like the 6 movies in the 2010s.
There were like several things that I was surprised where I put them because at the time, being in like middle school or early high school or whatever, I thought they were obnoxious, horrible, and overplayed. But now that I'm of a different age and that I've avoided listening to them for 5+ years, I like them now. Like I feel embarrassed to admit that "Call Me Maybe" is in my top 20.
Yeah, that song slaps, yo.
It does, but
there's also that summer was when somebody I used to know was like all over the place. Where was that one?
Somebody I used to know is probably would be in one of my top 10s. I have so much
Yeah,
nostalgia
okay.
for that. Yeah.
I loved that song when it came out, and I expected it to be in my top 5.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I don't know why, it just didn't click with me when I was listening to this.
Hmm.
It felt really underwhelming. It ended up being 30, and I don't like that it's at 30, but I've noticed that like unless the mellow or slow song is like a love song of some kind, I'm typically going to find it less interesting than like an uplifting song or a not a party song, but like a song with a lot of
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And so it just ended up at number 30, and I was really surprised by that.
I would say probably what my least favorite song of the decade, like the least favorite pop song of the decade, Despacito. I hate Despacito with
Honestly,
I
I like Despacito.
I hate it. I hate it so much because my fiance always played it. Always. I've heard that
Despacito,
I
quiero decir
God,
Despacito.
I like it. It's
Alexa,
weird. It's
play
weird.
Despacito.
Yeah, like that meme.
Manuscrito.
But it's funny. It's funny because it's like it. You know, it's all right, but it just becomes. I heard it so much, I get irrationally angry. when I
That's
hear it.
why I try. That's why I tried to ignore overplayed and underplayedness with a song.
Hey Siri,
That's
play
fair.
Despacito. Now anybody who wasn't using headphones is fucked.
Hey, Despacito,
but-
play Alexa.
I ended up having Despacito at 21.
Really?
Like, I liked it. I like a Spanish guitar. Justin Bieber's Spanish wasn't awful, and even though it was overplayed, I found it really catchy and different at the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, Old Town Road was at 24.
Honestly, Old Town. I kind of like Old Town Road, like both ironically and
I
unironically.
thought
It kind of slaps.
yeah, it was pretty great. But yeah, kind of like I mentioned, like so like a lot of like energy songs, even though I found them obnoxious at the time, I really liked. So like Call Me Maybe was at 12. Kind of like I mentioned, I was in middle school and it was everywhere and it was an earworm and I hated it.
Oh god.
But now since I've avoided it for 5 years and I listen to it, it's like, huh,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that worked. Laser Kiwi says, speaking of Despacito, what song's gonna be in YouTube Rewind? Because that glorious thing is coming up.
Old Town Road.
Yeah, Old Town Road. I could easily see.
There's no way they won't have it.
Bad guy. Probably a bad.
Yeah, I
guy.
could see that.
Man, whatever.
Thank you next, maybe.
Yeah. I would I want YouTube Rewind to be even cringier this year.
Oh, please no.
Oh god, I want it to be worse. I want to have Will Smith as the genie. I want it to be put fucking.
They don't get Will Smith. You know who they get?
They
get the Fonz.
They'll put,
guys, I'm just so excited for this YouTube Rewind. Let's go.
They'll put freaking Jack Black in it.
Oh, but that'd be good though.
Yeah, but it's just more celebrities and shit. And it's like Jack Black's gaming channel has already kind of become an advertising black hole, pretty much, just to promote new movies and all that fun jazz. Yeah, that's fun. I guess we can kind of start wrapping this stuff. That was a good list though.
I will say,
fully agree.
The last thing to conclude with this list, and it is the most depressing fact about this list, out of all 110 of these songs that hit number 1,
yeah,
there was only one that had a guitar solo in it.
Really? Which one?
Rude by Magic.
Damn. Yeah, that's kind of.
I found that, like, I am, for those who are wondering, I am a rock and metal person. And even though I'm a nerd and I'll listen to top 40 stuff and I'll like some top 40 stuff, I miss hearing guitars and things.
The entire chat's just gonna call you a boomer. You know that, right?
I don't care.
I don't
my favorite bands are boomer bands. I don't care.
I'm hip to the Zoomers. All of my favorite music is made with the little notes thing in Minecraft.
I only
Oh my
listen to Music Man and Roblox. And
And it's like I totally like I listen to new music. It's like I love The Weeknd, I love Bruno Mars, I like
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. Like they're
Yeah, no, I fully agree.
I like Billie Eilish. It's like these are good musicians. It would just be nice if I heard music with like I don't know a real instrument on the radio that wasn't country.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking with you. I fully
No,
agree with you
I
too.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. It's just and country has gotten so bad. Like
Oh my god, I can't
I
listen to country anymore.
it's like I've always been just kind of like okay with country. I like Alabama a lot, but in general, country is just like it's okay, I guess. But lately, it's just gotten so obnoxious because they're basically the face of "Hello, fellow children" meme.
Yeah, well, it got
Because
worse
like
because they try to combine it with hip hop, and
yeah,
I mean, you know, Old Town Road,
and
whatever.
somehow
But
Old Town Road did it better than all of them put
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Old
Well,
Town Road, is that song that's by that like K-pop band or had the K-pop band involved?
no, Old Town Road's with
No,
Billy Ray
Lil Nas X
Cyrus.
and Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah,
Yeah, Billy Ray Cyrus got relevant in 2019.
yeah.
That
Dreams really do happen. Holy shit.
I never thought that would
But yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
I get it. Yeah, that's
I and if I have one wish for the 2020 or yeah, the 2020s other than rock music coming back, I want happy music. I feel like a lot of music, especially the last half of this decade, has been like more emo and depressing.
I want
And
to.
I'm not talking about like party happy. I'm talking about like that late 90s alternative everything is nice happy.
Yeah. I, I,
Really
I, I
nice.
just want electro swing. I want everything to just go into electro swing, and I'll be.
Flappers come back.
Yeah. Now that's a whole conversation in itself of what the 2020s will be like. That's the funny thing because culture itself is changing so fast. So it's like it's weird to think at the beginning of this decade, shit like TikTok and Black Eyed Peas and everything like that were like massive, and that just feels like it was in such a far distant age, even though it's
We
the same
traded one TikTok for another.
Yeah, it's almost like decades. We can't even label decades in what the culture of a decade would be because they just
I don't
change
even
so much.
I kind of disagree with that because I feel like at least musically the same is true with the other decades because like with the 90s, at the beginning of like 1990, 1991, you still had a little bit of hair metal, you had grunge make its way, and like Michael Jackson was still on top of the world. But then 1999 it was mellow acoustic alternative music, and then like R&B music was back on the rise, and like In Sync, and those are like very different. Or if like with the 80s, at the beginning of the 80s you had like new wavy type
Yeah.
stuff, but at the end of the 80s it was nothing but power ballads and adult contemporary. In the 70s, at the
Yeah.
beginning it's still Beatles and hippies, but then at the end it's I feel like that we'll know things that define the 2010s in hindsight just as time goes on.
I mean,
Just like how
by that
now
logic, I mean, because I agree, I actually agree with you. Yeah, I take that back. But
yeah
by that logic, that means we could kind of just see what the 2020s is going to go into just in the next 2 years or next year.
Because like now that it's been a while, like the 2000s, like before 2010, I'm already starting to notice the general trends of that decade, or whether it's like fashion, music, or all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just because it's far enough away. Like, remember do-rags?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that good old man. There's going to be eventually kids like 10 years from now that are going to be like nostalgic for all the
Yo crunk.
God. No, the only thing in the 2000s anyone should be nostalgic over is Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That's it. So, take sip from Monster and all that fun jazz. Yeah, that's why I'm most I don't know, maybe it's because we're just into history and shit like that, but it's like going into a new decade, I'm just so like I'm so pumped with it. I get to add a different number to my years. Wow. And, shit like that.
And we'll start calling that the 20s instead of the 1920s. Yay.
Hey, I'm
That'd be great.
going into 20s. Yeah, that's awesome.
It'll just be weird. I can't wait until I'm in like the nursing home and I'm gonna say like,
Back
oh,
in the
I like this band from the 80s. It was like, oh, so they're new? No, not those 80s.
not your 80s. I mean the
Okay,
1980s.
okay, millennial. No, you shut up.
What are you? No, kids, like when we're like all 100, you'll have the millennials, which will be like super old, and then you'll have the centurions. That would be funny. But yeah, I guess we'll do like one or two questions, and then we'll just wrap this up. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Uh-huh.
All right, cool. If anyone has questions, put them in, and we'll answer. But let me check. Let me check the Twitter and stuff. See what good.
Let's see. For Cody, what alt history scenario would you want to make a video about, but you didn't because it's too? I'm guessing they're trying to say niche for you.
It's too niche.
Yeah, like you just figure like this would be interesting to you, but not enough for YouTube for it to be worth.
There's a lot, honestly. The problem with having a channel where I have to dedicate so much time in making a video and then, releasing it to a mainstream audience is that there's only so specific I can get without, getting only like 200,000 views or anything like that. People aren't going to click on it. I've really wanted to do stuff about the German reunification. I've really wanted to do stuff about specific, particularly like Leninist stuff. Like what if Trotsky had taken over instead of, Stalin and stuff of that, or even more specific in the revolution, in the Bolshevik Revolution itself. I've wanted to do stuff about like specifically politics too, like certain specific American elections. What if that had gone differently? Like even stuff that niche never gets any views. I used to do stuff like that and it would just never get any views. So there's a lot of stuff in more, I don't know, because most of this audience is American. If you do stuff that isn't America or isn't Western, it doesn't get as many views. So
what if Ross Perot won?
Yeah, what if Ross Perot won? I really wanted to do stuff about like Latin America, stuff about specific African kingdoms and stuff, or even just about Indonesia. I've really wanted to do a video about Indonesia, but even globally, Indonesia's not talked about that much, despite they're like the 4th largest country in the world. So it's like I have to think about what other areas of the world I can talk about that are also going to be a payoff when I actually release them. But yeah, that's the thing that sucks. Oh, everyone's saying Rome Part 3. Rome Part 3 is going to be out. Like, stop asking, please. Yeah, find another. Let's find another good topic. One that's not. Do. Someone says, "What was your involvement in 9/11?" No. Oh, question about rock music. Wait. Oh, question. What rock music do you listen to, Tiger?
All of it.
Do you want to be more specific or just all of it?
I mean, I like all of it. I like Elvis. I like the Beatles. I like a lot of the stuff from the '60s. I like glam rock. I like
Oh my god, boomer.
Hey, we're in Gen X now. Basically a lot of metal and punk, really.
Yeah.
Classic rock. Honestly, I just like a lot of rock.
That's fair.
I mean, I guess like my favorite bands are like Beatles, Metallica, and Mastodon. I guess if I had to pick like a top 3, but generally, if it has guitars and they're electric, I'll probably like it. Unless it's Limp Bizkit, they can go die.
I guess this will be for everyone. And I guess we'll wrap it up with this. What is your favorite historical topic that you haven't covered yet? Which I don't know if you guys, if you haven't had a topic that you haven't covered yet, but if you have, what is it?
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Well, I really want to get my video on West Africa done, but I've been so busy and it's taking forever. And West Africa is complicated.
How about you,
Yeah,
Tristan?
I've been wanting to do a dead countries on the Soviet Union, and I've been wanting to do a biography video on Emma Goldman. I think those are the two that I want to do.
I've wanted to. Oh shit. Sorry, I had my Facebook thing going. Man, that's the thing I have to. I would say probably something involving India. Um, India as a civilization has always fascinated me. And I didn't want to talk about it with just the context of the British or anything like that. Just anything with like the Mughal Empire or Sikhs or something like that, which goes into, specifics and, would people actually watch this video if I did make it. But yeah, something involving India I've always wanted to do.
I would definitely say I agree with that because I feel like that if I had to pick an area of the world where I've made the least amount of videos in at all, it's actually probably India.
Yeah.
Just because, well, for my map videos, it's very intimidating to me because I know so little about it. And India wasn't like China to where it was most of the time under like a unified dynasty. It pretty much almost never fully united before the British came along. So there would just be a lot of stuff that I would have to like research, and so it's just always been very intimidating.
Yeah.
And then for just talking about it, everyone talks about Ashoka because he's like the one guy who became a Buddhist pacifist in India that was king. And then everyone talks about the British, and then everything else no one else seems to care about outside of India, which sucks. But
There's not really good sources in the West of like that certain area of the world, at least until the British come, and it's just like it's so annoying because it's like you really want to do a video on it or do it in such detail that it's not inaccurate, but then most of the stuff that we actually have on it is just from outside sources and opinions like centuries later. And it's like, because I've tried to do more research on it, and I tried to do an India video, but it just fell apart because it's like,
yeah,
oh my god, all this is like subjective. What the
I
hell?
wouldn't mind like spending the time to do the research to try to get something together about an India video, but whenever it's just like school and work, and that's like
Yeah.
3/4 of my year, it's just I need a video in a week. What
Yeah.
am I going to do? I'm less likely to pick that topic just because I have to get it done.
Yep. Same. But yeah, that's mostly, yeah, that's always a fun thing, is that we have to balance out, you know, I would love to invest time into researching and everything, but it's also kind of like you got to get something out, and it's easier to do videos about stuff you have a confidence in than going into an entirely different, part of the world and trying to figure out, okay, what's right, what's wrong, what's a misconception, and stuff like that, because that's always the worst thing, because I know you guys probably have this too. You do something about some certain area of the world that you're not super familiar with, and then everybody harps on you, and it's like, you're wrong.
Oh yeah.
One mis
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it's like I'm doing the same thing with the rise of Islam, and I'm just trying to, I'm going through it like a landmine basically, because it's like, okay, what's right, what's wrong, what's up to subjective, what's subjective, what's debated, and it's like, oh, I gotta, that's always a fun thing. But yeah, so that's cool. You guys want to just wrap this up? Is that what we'll?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm glad we're just gonna keep doing this every week, even if something didn't happen, we'll make it happen. So, but
It's a show about nothing.
yeah, it's a show about nothing, Jerry. But anyway,
Jerry!
we'll see y'all next week, and we'll probably talk about movies or whatever other bullshit there is. So I'm Cody.
I'm for Tiger Star.
And I'm Tristan, stepbackhistory.com.
And Livestream December Decade.